Hi folks, welcome back. Now this is part 3 of Project Bonneville. We're going to do some oil changing today. We've got lots of funky cool mods, lots of modifications we're really looking forward to do. Before we get to that, like the tyres, we've got to get involved in the servicing and some little bits of maintenance work that didn't get done because we got the bike for the right price. We were left to do it ourselves, and I kind of want to do it myself. Now, before we get involved in any modifications, there's the rear brake pads, which you saw in the last video. They are very thin and doing, got those in stock now, and the oil to change. Now the oil change, quite simply, this bike is between services. It's done 7,500 miles. It was last changed at 3,500, so we've got 4,000 miles on the oil that's in it. That's not by any means wrong, but the next actual service, the service interval was a 6,000. Kind of, this is all about numbers. It was done at 3,500 miles early. It shouldn't have been until 6, but it's done at 3,500. And what that does is it throws your next service forward, because it should be done every 6,000 miles, at least the oil change if nothing else. Shims and valve clearances, they're not done until 12,000, so we're a long time before that yet. But because the last owner did the service, on oil change service on this early, he did it 3,500, it needs to be done early a second time. So it needs to be done, the official service will be 9,500, and it's just 2,500, 3,000 miles time. So look, we're in between it all, hang it all, we're just going to bang some new oil in it. So what we've done, we've gone out, got ourselves 5 litre pack, 4 litre pack, 4 litre pack. Motul 1040. Now, oil I'm not going to recommend, because I'm not backing up or recommending any particular oil. You choose what oil's right for your bike. For the Bonneville, it's a 1040 motorcycle rated motor oil, and this is what we're going to use. It's absolutely fine. But what we have done, where's it Phil? Here it is. Stay there. There we go. What we've done is we've splashed out on this one. This was a deal from a non-Harley. Sorry, they still live here. Harleys have not left the building. We've gone to the trouble of getting a genuine Triumph filter, and the only reason is, why not? The company we dealt with, which is Buster's. No,
it wasn't Buster's.
Who did we go to for this lot?
It was a company in Romsey.
Okay, I can't remember the name of them right now, but it was an online company.
It was 50p more to have the Triumph one.
That's all it was. They offered the oil and the filter, or for another 50 pence you get the genuine Triumph filter. So it's a no-brainer, isn't it, folks? Right, so what we're going to do first of all, put that to one side. First job with all of these is to drain the oil. I've got the tools ready. We're going to show you, like we did with the wheels, what the torque setting for the sump plug is, and a little trick to make it sure it's sealed. And first of all, like all these things, it's just cooling off now. We've already warmed it up, given it about 5-10 minutes to run, get all the oil through the engine, get everything loosened up, all the sludge and all the stuff out of the oil, and all liquid, so it all runs out the bottom. So the first thing, get stuck in, we're going to drain the oil out. Okay, usual kit list. Litre tray at the ready, sump plug. Pop it underneath, sharp crack comes undone, and then you can see that cat litter tray at the ready, and a big rag, because you never know. Now obviously, because it's pointing that way, give yourself some kind of squirt rim in case it comes out, and it will come out that way rather than straight down, and it will go on your hand. So yes, I should be wearing latex gloves, but hey, I just don't care. There we go. Simple as that. And the washer's gone in there too. Right. Let's get that out as well. Right, there we go. Let's let that drain for about 5 minutes. Okay, while that's still draining there, we get the filter out of the way. What I'm going to do is put my big grips around the bottom of it, give it a grip, and get it going. There we are. Only needs a little bit of persuasion with the grips, not much. Don't go beating screwdrivers through these. We've done this on videos before. If necessary, get the proper tool, which is like a little cup that goes over it. And then move that into place. Cat litter tray, brilliant thing. Unscrew the filter. You'll get lots of spillage. And it will drop away. And then just tip all the old oil in there. Nice to see that he put a... because this was serviced at a Kawasaki dealer, it's nice to see they use a proper Triumph filter. As we will be doing. There we are. Right, time for a clean up. Right, after a good old clean of the area, you can have a feel around there. It's time for the new filter. Okay. So, unwrap it from the cellophane. Lovely, nice, new spanking Triumph filter. And what we're going to do is fill this up with oil, because it's an upright filter that mounts that way. Unlike the Harley, which mounts that way, you can actually fill this up first, which is great. Because I always worry with a lot of these bikes, what you get is a filter that's bone dry and empty. And when you put it on, obviously it takes a while for that oil to fill in before it starts filling up and coming back out again. So as the engine runs, there's nothing coming out of this filter for a good few seconds. Don't like that. Never felt happy about that. But with these, you can just top them up. And all you do, take your oil can, tip it on its side, it doesn't spill everywhere, and just fill it up. Not right to the top, because you do have to wiggle it about to get it in. And I'm sure somewhere there's a measure of how much you put in it. But it's just that much. Now fill it to the thread. That's all you need to fill it to. A little tiny bit more. Don't go flooding it all around the lip, because it will just pour out on the floor. There you go. That's all you need to do. And then take a little bit of that. I think we all know this, don't we? Come on, ain't hard, is it? Even Penny knows this, don't you, Penny?
I do.
Yeah, if you do this long enough, it starts to sing a tune to you. There we go. Now, oddly enough, if you watch, I just filled that to the top, and look, it's half full as it soaks into the filter. And that's the trick here, is you kind of pre-soak it and prime it, so that when it goes on the bike, there's no starvation period when you start the engine up at the end. You see the little bubbles coming out there. Let it fill up completely until it, like that, yeah, it's dropped again, until it's completely full up and ready to mount. Right, still draining, you can see a little drizzle there, still coming out. Take the pre-primed filter, pop it up into place, spin it on, job done. There we are. Now, the Triumph manual gives us a torque setting of, what was it, Penny?
8 to 12 Newton meters.
Okay, 8 to 12. And that isn't even hand tight. So what we're going to do is I'm going to apply the method that Harley Davidson uses of seat the filter till the rubber touches, nice and firm, and then take a line and do half a turn from there. And that's it. That's all you need to do. Now if you're worried that that's not enough, you can do a little bit more, but don't go winding that in so hard that you'll never get it off again. They only have to go in roughly a half to 3/4 of a turn from that point where it seats, and that is then fully installed and safe. And if it's going to do anything, you'll get a little drip of oil possibly. Very rare, never had it, but if you do, just give it a little bit of a turn after that. Okay, we're going to finish letting that drain and it's ready to fill the oil. Right, if like us you're doing it on a side stand, just stand the bike up, give it a kind of lean very, very gently side to side, don't drop it on your Penny's head.
No.
And
That
drain
would give
all
me a
the oil
headache.
out. Now even if this takes half an hour to get that oil out, even if you choose to leave it overnight until there's absolutely nothing coming out, that's fine. But just a little trick in case there's a puddle of it left in the sump. Right, sump plug. Now, everybody goes on about what you should or shouldn't do with the sump plug. I'm going to show you the very simple way that I've always done, has never failed me in whatever many years. Now, first of all, new aluminium washer. Okay, you can use a copper one if you like, doesn't matter, whatever it is, but just get a new washer on there, actually a little crush washer. Now this product is known as Hylamar, Marston's Hylamar. You can use what you like, a bit of silicone does the job, but I love this stuff because it is an oil sealing product. It stays sticky forever. I've had that tube. I was given that tube when I was a bus mechanic in 1987 and I've never used it all, because all you ever use is a tiny smear like this. This stuff doesn't dry. Never go using big whacks of this stuff because it doesn't dry. It stays liquid for ages and ages, in fact forever. This has never dried out in all the years I've owned it. Actually I want a little tiny bit more of that. And if you put big massive amounts of it on the job, then it breaks off inside the engine and floats around, and it will stick in things like oil ways, and it will block strainers in the sump. So just use a little tiny bit on the thread, and then when we put the thing in, it will make that seal all the better. And it doesn't stick, it stays like that, kind of a tacky substance. It's great stuff. You can still buy it, Marston's Hylamar, and use the blue Hylamar, not the red stuff which sets. Now I'm going to pop this in. Let's put that out of the way. Did a lot of popping today, haven't we, Penny? Must use another term. Alright, it's still draining a little bit. You can leave it for an hour if you want, but that's fine. There we go. And wind it in by hand. Now the torque setting for this is 20 Newton meters, which is really not very much. And the reason that it's such a small torque setting is that this is a soft aluminium casing and it can't take much pressure. A bit like me really. Now if you check out torque wrench, I want to show you this again. This is a 3/8 drive torque wrench and it's a 13mm head. But in it, this torque wrench only starts at 10. 10 is its lowest. So 20 really isn't much. It's a very low torque setting, which is a perfect example of how a sump plug really can't take a lot. There's no need to overdo it. I'm going to pop it up to 15 first of all. This really is quite deep. I'll tell you what. Let's get an extension bar. As you can see, a little bit awkward to get to. Pop that on the end. Out of the way. That's better. Get in there now. Now, first of all, one click at 15. That's it. And then on the torque wrench there, going to wind it up to 20 Newton meters. And that's the correct torque setting for the sump plug. No more, no less. And that's it. Don't do it anymore. Because honestly, if you strip one of these, which is extremely common, then you are in a world of grief. It's just a nightmare. You have to helicoil it, put a new thread inside. It's not difficult to do, but why do it? Just don't overdo it in the first place. There we are. That's it. Now time to fill the oil up. Okay, filling the oil. On the Bonneville, you've got this rather crap kind of button top screw thingamabob. And I hate these. I really do. They're awful. I think it's there for looks rather than anything else. And the one thing I don't like about them is, look at that. This has had one oil change, well two, with its first service, and it's chewed already. And that would have been done by a technician. It's just hideous. There's a special tool for these, and I've not even got one. But what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade the whole thing, and I'm going to put one of these in. Now this is a really cool little accessory, but in my opinion, this is not just a bit of bling. This is a billet filler plug to go in there, and this is made by TechBike Parts. So if you contact them, I'll put a link at the bottom, techbikeparts.com, and they will supply that for you. They've got a whole website, bits and pieces, but this is just a neat little dinky aluminium case, a lid, and it just screws on, and you can use a spanner on the top or a socket, which to me is common sense. And TechBike Parts are a British company, so it's synonymous that everything they make is common sense. And as you can see, all that does there, this little O-ring, it just screws into place by hand. And then when you come to do it up, you just nip it up with a socket or a spanner, or a wrench, whatever you prefer. But I need to put some oil in it first, so we'll keep that there. Funnel in. Time to fill her up. Now, just as it's worth, you've got the torque showing. You've got a sight glass on these, so I'm just going to pop in about probably 2.5 litres first of all, and then start doing some measuring. Alright, there's a check of your first fill up. So fill to that point. You see the two marks either side of the sight glass. You've got two marks over there on the body, and just fill up so that the level is towards the top mark when the bike's on the balance point on its wheels. Okay, once you've done that, pop it on a side stand. Take the funnel out of the way, and then just pop the cap in, just to stop it splashing out, and we're going to run it for a few seconds, just to run the oil around the engine. Just do that up by hand for a minute, and fire it up. Just a little test fire, just to run the oil around the engine so we can get that exact level. Don't run it fast when you drain it all out, just a nice slow tick over. And just run it for about 60 seconds. That's it. And that just gives you a chance for a final top up. funnel back in place. And then whenever you check the oil level on your Bonneville, get down there, man. Now you can tell when. Okay, how's that now?
It's dropped.
So you will drop a little bit because it will top out the filter. But give that a few seconds to run down from the top of the engine because it will be up around the cams. And then you can top it up to the top level. With a little drop more. That's it. A little tiny bit more. And there we are. That's it, that'll do. Let's put it back out. Okay, finally, final out for the last time. Put the filler cap, there we are, one of those. techbikeparts.com, check them out. I'll put a link underneath for you. Now, you can actually just do that up by hand. You really don't need a spanner on it. There we are, that's fine like that, no problem. Okay, finally, there's only one more thing I think to add to this. That's a very simple oil change. Now I'm going to take the little tiny half litre to a litre of oil that's left in there, put it in a safe container for a top-up spare, and I'm going to use this to tip the cat litter tray of sump oil into here, and then this will get taken with all the sump oil in it up to the recycle plant and disposed of in a proper manner. If you haven't got a recycle plant, you can take it to your local bike shop and you can pay them a few bucks just to take it away and recycle it in a proper manner. You should be doing this because it's the proper way to do it, obviously. Okay, so there we are, quick oil change, Bonneville. That's how it's done, ever so simple. If you want to link to more parts than just that filler cap, there's fuel filler caps, there's all sorts of trick little bits you can treat yourself to. They're great for ideas like presents and that sort of thing. But I much prefer that to that daft coin operated thing which is just gets chewed up in no time and they get over tightened. That's a great piece of kit and I'm much happy to have that on there. What do you reckon?
Lovely, first mod.
First little mod, there we are, oil's changed. Now the next one will just be the rear brake pads and then after that we can start on the suspension which we're really excited about. Get this thing loaded a little bit. Okay, there we are. Hope that helps you. Take it easy, ride safe and we'll see you for the next one.